Previously in part 4, where we had Black talking about like nonsense and stuff. Gray notices that Black has a crush on B's side, and Mama Angry and Rosie heard their conversation, and then explains a short backstory, and then a few others get suspicious, and then Peach wakes up feeling like completely walking again, and then like they find like a hybrid cat in a tube, and then the hybrid cat goes by Kaya, and she explains a backstory that happened 30 years ago. Today we're recapping the movie Black Imposter V4 Turbine X Mama is Angry Part 5. So, let's get into it. So the backstory starts off with a house and a family. So the family of the backstory is Kata's. So the two parents go by the name of Mo and Jenna. It's kind of like Toe, Ho, and Joe, but with an M-O-E. And Jenna is the mother. And then there's Kata as a child. So then we're on the date of, I don't even know what date we're on. To be honest, I just start making dates on animations on what it was going on. Okay, moving on. So, they're preparing for a school exam, and then we meet this new character, Nena. It's, N-A-N-N-A. Yeah, it kind of looks, it's kind of like Santa, but with an N, but, or maybe like Mana or Benna, or it's not almost like banana, but with two M's between, but with no A. You know what I mean. And then we got Gogan. Now, it's like my name, Hogan, and another name, Rogan, Logan, any type of names, but it's with a G. So yeah, it's Gogan right here. And then we got Cat Boss, the one that was in the prison cell that met Maru and Scarlet Turbine. So Cat Boss pretty much hates the school, and he comes up with an idea. So he's gonna cheat on the test by using mirrors. So then Cat Boss just prepares his plan. So he acts neutral to not get any suspicion. So then, as they're on their way to school, they just, that vehicle. I didn't quite made it myself. I kinda used Google to copy the vehicle, and I made the size up comparison to that. So yeah, that's the vehicle right there. I have done some upgrades with it, so yeah. So as the four are hidden in, so then Cat Boss begins his plan. So he goes into the classroom, plants the mirrors, and then class starts, and we got the teacher, Miss Sky. Now this is Miss Sky's not some of these colors are actually from Among Us, but I mean, who cares? So Cat Boss begins his plan, he cheats, and then Kata completely is figuring this out. So then she gets every problem correctly and shows it to the teacher, and this guy completely gets impressed. And then Kata notices a mirror on her desk and in the ceiling, and she knows where it leads to. So then Cat Boss really thinks he's getting away with it, but then as he's just thinking he's getting away, and then this guy and Kata caught Cat Boss cheating, and then Cat Boss is sent to the principal's office, and then Cat Boss is just completely in anger, and then Cat Boss just gets another idea. He's not going to the principal's office. He's just gonna skip school. So then he goes to Chuck E. Cheese's, and then just has fun there. And then Kata, Nana, and Gogan are still at school and just doing just Kata got an A plus, Nana got an A, and Gogan got a B plus. So then and then Miss Knight, which is the principal of the school. So then Catapult should be showing up right now. I'm gonna ask Miss Guy. So then the principal asks Miss Guy, why Catapult's never made it to my office. I was wondering if he was still here. That's strange. I told him to go to the office. Don't you guys have cameras? So then they go to the principal's office, watch the cameras, and then they know that Cat Paws went to Chuck E. Cheese's instead of going to the office, and Kata knows where. They pretty much don't know where he's at, but Kata obviously knows somehow. Meanwhile, Mo and Jenna are just chilling, and then Mo gets a phone call, and they tell them about Cat Paws, and pretty much he cheated and then skipped school. So they go and find Cat Paws, as Cat Paws thought he got away with it. Mo taps him, and both of them at anger, and Cat Paws just knows he's in big trouble, and pretty much he's going back to school, and he just knows he's in big trouble. So then Cat Paws, do you realize how much trouble you're in right now? And pretty much Cat Paws just literally doesn't even care, and pretty much just like mouth shames a lot of things, and then suddenly just he gets suspended, and then pretty much Cat Paws is in trouble. So he pretty much like threatened his own sister, and then pretty much he's grounded for 3 months, and then like instead of hiring a babysitter, you're doing the road trip and my friends as punishment. I wouldn't, to be honest, to be honest, I actually, I wouldn't think that would be a punishment. I have to remaster that. Okay, moving on. So then, like, Cat Paws is, completely angry, and he wants revenge. So he watches a video, he goes on Google, and finds a link to 4 Flat Tires. I didn't feel like animating this because I don't even know how to animate smoothly yet, so yeah. So then, like, Cat Paws finds on what to do, and he just got an idea. So he made a to-do list. Step 1, chop a tree down. Step 2, making the run over a spike strip. Step 3, stuck in the mud. Step 4, abandoned water tower, a cabin I meant to put in. Step 5, murdering them all. So Cat Paws is gonna murder his family, and he knows he only has like a few days to do this, so he has to do this now. So then as they're talking, awarding Kata, Nana, and Gogan, and then Cat Paws begin his step 1, and then so he has to try not to get caught. So he goes to the window, opens it, and he knows that there's something in the like shed, and then like he grabs a hammer and a nail. He hammers it on his window, and then he jumps down, and then he like goes into the shed and grabs a rope, and then the rope like goes to the nail, and then Cat Paws climbed it, and then as Cat Paws was just sitting in his room, Mo tells him that he can't come to an area where they're going, and then Cat Paws takes the opportunity to go to Canadian Tire, and he like steals his father's four-wheeler, and he like puts on a mask costume to look like a burglary so no one knows it's him, and then like he goes looking, he steals a chainsaw, and then he goes back to the room, and then pretty much Cat Paws made it, and then Jenna just walks in, and then just nothing, just checking if you didn't do anything. So they're watching a movie, they ask Cat Paws not to skip. So then, that proves that Cat Paws knows that the plan is working so far. So then Cat Paws sneaks in again, he goes into a police station, and then Cat Paws uses a mic on the speakers and then gets the cop to go, and then he steals a spike strip and then goes to the road where he goes. So he knows there's two roads, one to the main area to town and the other one to a dirt road to a cabin. So then he knows that he needs to think a way to not see the spike strips, because he knows that his parents are intelligent of seeing stuff. So he goes back to Canadian Tire, and then he finds a paint on the counter, and then he puts the spike strip down and paints it, and now it would be perfectly it's the same match. I don't know how to make the same match. Okay, moving on. So then he's he knows there's a mud pit there, and then he finds a blanket during the chainsaw, and then he puts the blanket on top of the mud pit, and then Jenna and Mo are just chit-chatting, and Cat Paws knows that they're going to fun apart, and well, their fun will be deadly nightmare. Tomorrow I'll steal a knife and a gun, weapons, and for cheap. So he's gonna go steal some weapons from a weapons store, and then completely gets interrupted, and then he pretty much knows that they're gonna go shopping for stuff. So then Cat Paws literally says, "They love me, seriously lie, my guy." That's the problem. How am I supposed to go do whip? Now that's a problem. How am I supposed to do weapons now? I need to think of a plan to sneak away. Wait, maybe my parents get distracted. I'm sure there's security guard there. He's walking. I feel like reading that. So then Cat Paws knows that he has to go to a shopping mall with his parents, and he knows that he has to think smart now, because he has to go and think smart. So as Mo and Jenna are distracted, Cat Paws takes the opportunity and he goes into an event, and then he sneaks into a room, steals a gun and a knife, and then just stands by his parents, just acting like nothing ever happened. And then we just go to the shoe store and then finish shopping hours later, and then they're back home, and then they go to step 4, and then Cat Paws needs to get the plan ready. So they find the cabin, and then he has his plan in place. So Cat Paws knows it's Friday tomorrow, and he needs to get the plan prepared fast. So around midnight, 12:30, he begins his plan. So he only has 12:00 to 6:30. I'll only have a few hours. So then I better get this done then in time. So the Cat Paws comes out, and then Cat Paws chops down a tree that he planted next to chainsaw, or not planted, that he planted a chainsaw next to, and then he blocks the road, and then the spike strip he already placed, and then the sheet that was on the mud covering it, and then the cabin. So then he got everything ready, and he's back at 3:00 a.m. So then Cat Paws begins his plan. So he knows he has to act neutral to not get any suspicion. So then as they're about to go to the road trip, they're all sitting in the car, and then suddenly they go to one of Cat Paws' plans, traps, or blocks. So then they find a tree blocking the road, and they see a road to the left. So Cat Paws knows its plan is working so far. So then they go to the road, and then not knowing there's a spike strip there because Cat Paws covered it in paint. So then they run over the spike strip, and then suddenly all 4 tires go flat, and then KS sees something, and then we see a spike strip completely like covered in paint, and then the family just knows that they're either just gonna walk or be stranded, so they have no choice. So they just do the dumbest thing ever. They drive on 4 flat tires, and they do it for like some kilometers, and they run over some mud puddles, and then suddenly they reach another trap of cat paws. They go into the mud pit, and then they're stuck in the mud with 4 flat tires. Jenna completely angry about the road trip not going as planned. And Mo knows, don't be angry at yourself. Look, Mo, our road trip is ruined, okay? Ruined. Not yet, it's not. The cabin not far from now we walk there and call for help. So, pretty much they go into the cabin, and then Cat Paws has them exactly where he wants them. So then he gets ready to kill, and his first target is his brother Gogin. So then he pulls out a knife, stabs Gogin, and then he rips his head off and eats it. And then Gogin is killed. And then his next target, his father, Mo. So then Mo's just by the car, and then Cat Paws shoots at him, kills him, and eats his head, and then gone. Then Nena is next, and he kills her, snaps her neck, and eats her head and drinks the blood. And then Cat Paws' visor turns red and literally becomes most pure evilness. And then Kata finds his father dead, finds his brother dead, and finds his sister dead. And he knows he needs to warn his mother and his brother, but not knowing that his brother has been the one killing. And then Jenna's just by a cliff, and then Cat Paws completely looking, and Jenna asks Cat Paws for help, and Cat Paws just scratches her off the cliff. And then Jenna falls to her death, killing her instantly. And then Kata saw the whole thing. And then Kata knows that Cat Paws murdered the family. And then Kata remembers about the spike strip, the trees, and the mud pit in the cabin. She knows that this is all Cat Paws' plan. Cat Paws had them right where he wanted, and now he killed them all. And his last target is Kata. So Kata throws a rock at him, and he chases Kata. Meanwhile, Miss Sky and Miss Night just are on the same road, heading to the cabin that they were who knows where they were at. So then, apparently, they see the spike strip, and so then Kata's running from there, and then they ask what happened to Kata's family, and they're all dead. And Kata explains that Cat Paws killed them, and so then Miss Night and Sky protect Kata, and then Cat Paws walks up and sees the teacher and the principal, and then suddenly Officer Darknet, the officer, Cat Paws tries to kill the officer but gets tased from the tongue, and Cat Paws is knocked out, and then Cat Paws is arrested for murder. And then Kata's completely all sad, about his family gone. And then suddenly they tomorrow evening, Kata's still at this guy and Miss Knight's house, and then the court calls them about the court, and then Cat Paws is in court, and pretty much they explain about Cat Paws being the worst person, and then apparently, and then Cat Paws is found guilty of the murders of his family, and he is sentenced to life in a maximum security prison in Zancudo. And he knows that this isn't over, and says, "I will kill you, all of you." That's what he says. Case dismissed. So then, Cat Paws is arrested and sentenced to life in maximum security prison. And then we go to a little funeral of Mo, Jenna, Nena, Gogin. And so there will be some changes with the dates of some of these year dates or something. But then Kata is just all sad. No one in his family's no longer gonna be with her. And then 9 years later, in 2003, there's Kata again, all grown up. So yeah, so Kata is now an adult. Cat Boss is also an adult. And then there's a breaking news, like a note. Breaking news, a hybrid cat family was murdered by one of the 3 owned sons. The suspect killed all 4, however, the older sister somehow survived a fall. I originally planned to make a fall that Kata survived, but I never really added that in the Mama's Angry X Black Imposter thing, so I kinda just didn't really add it in there. And recovering from her injuries, the suspect was arrested and charged with murder. The killer, identified as Cat Paws, planned this last week. The dead victims, Dad, Mom, Jenna, and Gogan, and then the elder named Kata is recovering from a hospital. The suspect court date coming into play. I don't feel like reading. So then Cat Paws knows he wants to get revenge, and then he is gonna get revenge on his teacher, his principal, and his sister. So then Miss Guy and Miss Knight are chilling, and Kata just talking to them, and then pretty much they just head on to a mall, and then as they're just chit-chatting, something kidnaps Kata, and then they file a missing report about a missing person, Kata, and then Kata is locked in the tube that we saw in the last part, and then Officer Darknet will find them, all the other officers, but they never did, and then the part goes to an end. So yeah, that's Cat Boss's story, y'all. So yeah, that's the entire story. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll begin on with part 6.